After living in the UK for 15 years now and going through the whole stages, I mean being homeless, living in the rooms with addicts, to finally get our own home, working for, being jobless actually, had no money, then getting the job for a minimum wage, to at some point working for 100,000 a year. You know, I've been through it all, and I think it was a all good experience. Nothing gonna teach you as much as life. But I think there was a couple things I could know that would easy up this whole process of living in the UK. When I came here, or maybe even I would say for the first 5 years, if I could find out these 5 things quicker in life when I moved to the UK, my life would be so easier. So this is what I'm gonna share with you today. I'm gonna give you these 5 things that will help you if you're planning to move to the UK or you actually just moved to the UK. The first, and I think the most important, you should start speaking English. Even if your English is bad, as mine was, and it's still probably, you should try to speak as much of English as possible. Going to work, speak English. I know it's very attracting to speak with the people from the same country, because if I'm pretty sure people who moving here, majority of you aren't doctors, lawyers, engineers. If you move into the UK, probably you're looking for a better future for yourself and your family. So I guess you probably will be starting off at least with warehouses, some season works and all that stuff. And if you don't know English, it's very tempting to speak your own language when you go into the warehouses, all kind of works. Because if you see people from the same country as you are, it's just way easier. Like, it's so tempting and it's just convenient to speak your own language. And I used to do the same, don't get me wrong. But the problem was, I spent my first 5 years without learning even one word. Language-wise, I can 100% say I wasted 5 years. My first 5 years, I didn't learn anything. And that was the huge mistake, because after 5 years, I decided, okay, look, I think it's important because I cannot get a better job. How the hell people try finding the better jobs? And then I realized, how you want to find a better job if you don't have language? You can't speak English, so how you can get better job? You're gonna work all the time for minimum wage and there will be no hope for you. So at that point I decided, okay, I have to focus on language. I started reading books in English. I decided I will speak only English at work, which was so weird for the people I worked with the Polish people, because at some point I told them, look, I won't be speaking Polish anymore. I have to speak English from now on because I want to learn language. Some people say I'm stupid. Some people say, like, you know, you are who you think you are now, blah, blah, blah. But that was the thing that changed my life completely now. When I learned language, when I finally could speak English, I could apply for way more jobs. I can go for the interview to the companies that I actually wish to work for, not I have been forced to. I didn't have to work anymore through the agencies. I could go apply my own CV, go for an interview and find better jobs. So this was a massive thing that changed completely the trajectory of my life, for sure. That language is massive. If you can start from the first day, try to speak English as much as possible. My English was so shit. All I could say when I came here was hello, hi, bye. That was all I could say. So trust me, it was terrible. But if I could start speaking from the first day, maybe not even speaking, but at least try to speak, that would save my life. Second thing I wish to know when I moved here is be careful who you surround with. Because the thing is, when you move here and you are not specialized in any professional career, let's say, okay, You most likely gonna move here, try to find any job from the agency, and will rent a room probably somewhere yourself or with your spouse or with your wife, partner, or you will try to rent a room because that's very popular. That's the cheapest option and the quickest to at least get to live somewhere. Okay. And the problem is when you move in, most of us moving here without the friends. So of course it's our nature to find a new friends, try to socialize with someone. We are alone in the new country. The problem is you have no idea who you meet. So if you move in somewhere, you're moving into the house, you rent a room, you have no idea who you're living with, and you don't even know how much your surrounding influence you. Trust me, I've been living with drug addicts. I've been living with alcoholics. I've been living with sort of people that I don't want to meet now. And at some point, I've been in this weird situation where I just adapt, We were living together. Sometimes I worked with them as well. So, some days we had a beer after work. Some days we had more alcoholic products, let's say, let's call it this way. Sometimes we start partying from Thursday, Wednesday, even we had to go to work. And I didn't realize that for a very long time because, they were nice, I've been living with them. But at some point I found myself in very deep hole that I couldn't get out myself. And I even didn't realize that. I was so helpless. The only good thing that happened at that time was I've been here with my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, and she pulled me out from this shit. If I would be alone, I for sure wouldn't make this video right now for you. I would be addict now, for sure, but only because of my girlfriend and my strong will. At some point I decided to get out from this hole and to start new life and stop doing stupid shit in my life. And that's why I'm saying that I think it's very important to kind of check yourself here and there. Sometimes, you're moving somewhere, just look around like, okay, do I want to be like these guys? Do I want to hang out with them? Maybe it's not my style. It sounds okay because, we don't have anyone here. But do I actually want to spend time with people like that? Or should I just give myself more time to find people who I actually want to spend time with? It's very important. It was very important for me, and I'm sure that I would save so much health, so much money, so much time, so much effort if I wouldn't actually meet these people, or at least if I would see myself from the side and ask myself, do you actually want to be like them? If not, just don't hang out with them. While we're talking about living with people, there's another things I wish to know. And it is, as soon as I get here, I should start saving money to buy a house. I didn't realize that at the time. And no one even think about when you move into the new country. No one thinks about buying a house, right? Everyone trying to survive, to pay the bills, to have money for the party, to go out, to see, to experience the stuff in the new country. And that's how I lived. Like, we spent every single money we earned, just go experience new stuff. But it was a good idea. Okay, I did experience the UK, but when I look back now, my first point should be, okay, look, it's nice in here. I can live here for longer. And from this point, when I decided to stay here, I should start saving money for the house. Because the thing is, from the moment you came to the UK, or you come to the UK, the houses are the cheapest. The houses in my area, when we moved to the UK, for the house of like 2-3 bedroom house, you could buy for around like 140 to 180,000. And some of my friends did. They struggled with money, but they saved for the deposit and they bought the houses. I didn't. I didn't even thought about that. But now, 15 years later, if I wish to buy the house like that, exactly same house, these houses are for 250,000. There's no way I can save 250,000 or even deposit for that. Maybe deposit I can, but it's gonna be very long. And 250 pay off 250,000 is way worse than paying 150,000. So that's what I should do when I just moved to the UK. Do exactly what my friends done. Just get a house as soon as possible and you paying off your own debt instead of paying someone else's debt. Because if you're renting the house, if you rent the house from any private landlord or any agency, that means you paying off someone's debt. Someone bought a house, put you in there so you can pay off their loan for the house. So that's how it works. So instead of paying someone else's, you can pay off yourself. 15 years later, I could just sell the house with massive profit or just have a house. So that's another thing. And while we are on this topic, I know it's gonna sound like all topics are around one subject, but what I wish to tell you as well, when you rent a room, you're renting a room in someone's house, there's probably shared house, there's couple rooms, a lot of people living in there. It's not nice. I've been there. We rented a lot of rooms. We've been in nice houses, we've been in shared houses. We went through this. And you're planning to move out, okay? And when we decided, okay, maybe we can just move out now, we got some money saved. Probably we can rent a house from the agency. That would be so nice, okay? So for the 2-bed room, like a big double room, let's say, for 2 people, me and my girlfriend at the time, we was paying around £400. That was obviously, don't get me wrong, that was like 5 years ago. And then we found a house for like 900. Okay, it's 400 instead of 900 is a lot, but we really want to move out from this house. We didn't want to live with these people. Was really pissed off. Bits and things were missing. We wasn't happy up there. There was a lot of arguing. Probably, from our side a bit and from their side a bit, We just don't want to live with other people. So we said, okay, look, we got some money. Let's start looking for a house. What we didn't realize, and what I wish you to understand is, when you find a house to rent and you're moving from the room, there is way more to pay than the rent, okay? When we found a house for 900, we're paying 400 here for the room. We can get the 2-bed flat, for 900. We can move there. It's 500 more, but we can pay this. We can afford 900. What we didn't know is you also have to pay council tax. You also have to pay water. You also have to pay gas. You also have to pay electricity. You have to get your own internet connection. There's way more. You have to pay TV license. It's not like only things you have to pay is the rent itself. There's way more to do. And we didn't know that. So from 900, we went to pay like 1,400 at least. 900 was a rent. And then council tax called us and like, look, you have to start paying council tax because you're renting this property. We called your landlord. No one is paying council tax. Like, okay, how much is it? It's £150. Well, wow, we didn't know we have to pay that. Yes, you have to pay, okay. So from 900 we went to £1,050. And then the landlord called us, look, you didn't pay a gas and electric bill. Oh, we didn't know we have. Yeah, you have to. Okay, send us the bill, we're gonna pay it. British Gas contacted us like, look guys, you have got 300 to pay. Well, wow, how 300? Yeah, 3 months, mate. Wow. Then the water company called us. Anglian Water called us. Like, you have to pay your water bill. Like, what the hell is going on? You have to pay your internet. You have to pay everything. So, what I'm trying to say in here, when you're trying to rent a house, instead of the room, you're moving from the renting room to rent a house. There is way more, and you can be very surprised how much more than the rent. And the fifth things I wish to share with you is that might help maybe not everyone, but the people who are moving in here with kids or planning to have a kid when you move here, okay? And there's a couple things I want to add to it. So when you, let's say you moved here and you already renting a house, you're living your life, working, and you decide to have a kid. It's lovely. I got my son myself as well. And the problem is, compared to European country, UK is very different. School-wise, trip-wise, all that stuff. What I mean by that is, when our boy was born, we obviously, we didn't know how it's all gonna end up. Okay, we had our boy, it was lovely. There was a time to start school. So 3 years we sent him to the school for the first year. It was just 4 hours a day. The first thing I wish to say is the moment from when your kid is born, you have to understand there will be probably only one person working. So from 2 incomes, you're coming to 1 income, because your wife obviously will be pregnant, so at some point she have to stop. My wife stopped probably at the 7th month, so only 2 months before our boy was born. But some parents, some women have to stop even like a second month of the pregnancy. So when you stop working, you for a while you're getting like a pension from work, but at some point it's cutting off and you're not getting paid anymore. So your kid, you have to stay with your kid for the first like 3 years, 4 years even, I would say, because you can send your child to the school when he's free. This is what we've done. And at that point, for the first year, it's only 4 hours per day. It's 4 hours, so you're sending him like, I think like 9 o'clock and you're picking him up at 12. So obviously, another year, one person have to stay at home because you have to go drop your child, pick him up. So you got 4 years out of the salary, let's say. So that is big. Okay, that's what I wanna really for you to understand, that as soon as you got a baby here, one person have to stop working, to be honest, for the first 4 years. And then what's happening when your child is 4 years old? He's going full time to the school. You're dropping him off at 8:30. That obviously depends on the school. As for us, for our boy was 8:30. We drop him off, and then we was picking him up 3:30 p.m. And it's kind of a full time. So then your partner, or if you stayed at home, you can start working. Okay, it's gonna be very tight. I remember when my wife decided to go back to work, she was like so tight on time, and a lot of companies didn't accept that. So she literally had to speak with every company she was going into that, look, I got a kid, I have to drop him off 7:30 to the school, so I can start working from, let's say, 9 o'clock or 9:15. Oh, but we're starting at 8, and there was a lot of. She finally found a place, and you're gonna find a place as well to work somewhere. But it's gonna be very tight on time, or you will have to work nights, and I don't wish that to anyone. If you got a partner, if you are alone, it's different. But if you got a partner, you don't want to work on different times than your partner, because you have a family for something, okay? You don't have the family for nothing. You created the family to spend the time with them, to give them love, to see them and stuff like that. Okay, so you don't want to, work nights. And so that was regards like an income stuff, income wise. But now we didn't know that kids have so much half terms. Half term is like a holiday. They got so much 1 or 2 weeks off. It's ridiculous. Like they every like 2 months they got a 1 week off, and then obviously someone have to stay with your kids. So you need a holiday. You have to book your holiday to stay with your kid. So what we do is like sometimes I'm booking day off, sometimes my wife booking day off or week, and then we have to rotate around that. It's so often, really, like so often, and like a summer holiday, like in Poland, we had a 2 months off, whole 2 months, 8 weeks off from school. So then you can go somewhere for 2 months straight, sorted. Here is different. In UK, you got about 4 weeks off. So you have to understand that you cannot go somewhere. Like you got 4 weeks, and the problem is, even if you wanna take your child somewhere when it's a half term, tickets for airplanes are up to the roof. They are triple the price of the normal time. These companies know exactly what they're doing. As soon as the half term is booked, the prices are to the roof because they know people will fly regardless of the price. They will have to fly, okay? Because you have to stay 1 month at home, so you're gonna do something with that. And prices are to the roof. There's one bonus I wish to add to these 5 things. And it's not as big, but I think it's very important because you can get surprised as I did. When you buy a car in the UK, you have to consider the insurance. Let me just have a bit of a sip of the tea. When you buy a car, cars are relatively cheap here. When I was thinking to move here, I remember sitting in Poland and searching for the cars, how much cars costs in the UK. I remember we've seen a Jeep Grand Cherokee, the exactly same I had in Poland. It's like £1,000, man. So cheap. The cars are so cheap. BMWs, we were like 19 years old or 18, like looking for, race car. We didn't understand how it worked. So when I moved here, and eventually I saved the money, and I decided to buy a car. I bought my first car. It was a Vauxhall, and I paid for it £1,200, which was okay, good price, okay. And then I called my insurance. Look, I want to insure my car. I didn't know the first insurance will be so expensive that I was trying to give the car back because I couldn't afford my insurance. I paid for the car £1,200 and I had to pay £2,550 for insurance. It's more than double than the price of the car, and I didn't understand why. I was thinking, okay, maybe this insurer is just they see it's my first car and that's why they're trying to scam me. I called probably like 6 insurance company. Every single one was just more expensive, and I ended up after all borrowing money to pay for the insurance. I bought a car, but I didn't have money for insurance because insurance was double the price of the car. So that's just an extra, okay? It's just an extra for you, which you also can consider if you're moving into the UK. Yeah, I think these 5 things can actually save you a lot of time, effort, money, health, and emotion probably as well. So I wish you lasted to the end of this video and you got the extra tip as well, the 6th thing as well. And thank you very much for watching, and if this video was helpful, you can also like it and leave the comment how did you actually moved in here now, or you've been here for a while and you've been surprised by these things as well, or you been informed by someone, because when I've done my research before I moved here, no one was studying about that. That was 15 years ago. So subscribe and like if I helped you with any form. And for now, I wish you all the best and stay safe. I will see you in the next video.